This is music, and this is an epic blind buy haul. So before we get started, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. This is going to be the first video of the year on this channel. Happy new year to everyone. Fingers crossed it's going to be, and also devil horns, that it's going to be much better in 2022 than 2021 and 2020 were. Because let's face it, they were terrible years. There's some good things going on in music, of course, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, those were terrible years. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're well rested. I hope you're not too hungover from partying and all that good stuff, if indeed you did party. I want to also thank everyone who's supported this channel, everyone who's commented on my videos, just everyone who's watched them, everyone who subscribed, and of course everyone who's given me shout outs in their videos. And I just want to thank the VC or vinyl community or music community in general for just being an awesome non-toxic community. That's a rare thing these days. And one of the things I really enjoyed about being part of this community has been, in addition to communicating and interacting with like-minded music fans and watching you guys' videos and learning a lot about new artists and albums and music and some tips on how to collect and so on and so forth, I've really enjoyed sharing my first impressions of blind buys with you guys. As some of you know, I enjoy buying CDs primarily, but also sometimes vinyls. I enjoy doing blind buys and just listening to new music and taking it in. And it's just an added bonus that I can share my first impressions with you guys. So I figured I'm going to keep on doing that. So I'm going to do it this year as well. So I went to a Quartz web shop and picked up a ton of CDs, most of which are blind buys. I also picked up some vinyls. And they were cheap, because that's important to me, that the blind buys are cheap, because you could end up with something that's crap, and that would be a shame to have paid a lot of money for that. So they are cheap. It's not an expensive haul. But let's go through it. Let me just first show you the vinyls. So the first one is this one here, Bon Jovi, New Jersey. This is not a blind buy. I know this one. I was a big fan of this one when I was a kid. I had this on on cassette tape, and this was I would say this was the first album beyond Iron Maiden and beyond AC/DC that I started exploring in my first years of being a metal fan. This was this one, and there are some really good, catchy songs on it. I mean, it's more like pop hard rock than anything else, but there's some good, catchy songs on it. Still good stuff. I'm glad to have New Jersey by Bon Jovi in my collection. The next one is the only blind buy vinyl, Steel Inferno, Aesthetics of Decay. All I know about this is that the artwork is absolutely fantastic, and that it's supposed to be, but I'm not even sure about that, traditional heavy metal. Steel Inferno, Aesthetics of Decay. Look forward to listening to that one. And the last vinyl I want to show you is not a blind buy. I know all the songs from it, but I never had the album. That's Beverly Hills Cop, the soundtrack. You have Axel F, of course, and The Heat Is On. You have some pretty good 80s stuff on this one. And of course, this is, in my opinion, a good 80s action comedy as well. So I bought Bon Jovi, the album, for nostalgic reasons. This one as well. But you know, Beverly Hills Cop, the soundtrack. Good stuff. Okay, so let's turn to the CDs, where we find most of the blind buys. So I'm just going to grab a random stack. I almost dropped it on the floor. So the first one is one that I'm actually a bit nervous about. Circle of Contempt Artifacts in Motion. It's listed as progressive metal, and I'm not concerned about that because I love progressive metal, but it's also listed as metalcore. And to be honest, while I don't hate metalcore per se, to be honest, most metalcore bands, most metalcore songs I listen to just don't click with me. I don't hate it per se. There are some metalcore bands that I like. There are some metalcore songs I like, but for the most part, this genre just doesn't click with me. But it was cheap, and it also is progressive, so I figured I'm going to give it a chance. I might like it, right? Okay, the next one is one I have no knowledge about at all. Brimstone, Carving a Crimson Career. I think it's supposed to be traditional metal, but I honestly don't know. But it looks cool. The cover artwork is very cool. Cool digipack. The next one, I guess, is a semi-blind buy because I know the artist, Bombs of Hades, Atomic Temples. I don't know this particular album. I have some of their other releases in digital format, and I really like those. It's like a blend of crust and death metal. And I assume this is the same thing. So I look forward to listening to that. The next one is another one I'm a bit nervous about. That's Axe Wound Vultures. And the reason why I'm a bit nervous about it is it's a super group, but it features members of bands that don't click with me. Bullet for My Valentine, Cancer Bats, Glamour Kill. But who knows? This could be cool, right? So, Vultures, Axe Wound. Up next is an EP or maybe mini LP. Archetype, Hands of Time. Has 4 tracks on it. I think it's supposed to be death metal as well. Catalepsis. Catalepsy. Bleed. Supposed to be death metal. And that's basically all I know. Also, it's staring at you. Yeah. Catalepsy. Bleed. Maybe death metal. The next one is seems to be a self-titled release by Vixen. So that Vixen is a all-female hard rock band, and supposed to be really good. I've heard some of their songs, but I don't really remember that much about it. So I figured, I'll pick this one up, give it a spin. It's probably good. Vixen, and it seems to be self-titled. If not, I don't know what the title is. And the last one I have in this stack is Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath fame. Ohm Work. So, supposed to be trad metal. That's all I know, and I could be wrong about that as well. Okay, so another stack I'm gonna grab here of CDs, blind buys. This is a compilation, as far as I know. Girlschool, Come On, Let's Go. Girlschool are, just like Vixen, Girlschool are a legendary all-female rock band. Girlschool are metal. They're all-out metal, right? Vixen were more like hard rock, even to some extent, some people say soft rock. But Girlschool, all-out metal. Come On, Let's Go. Up next is Dave Lombardo's Grip Incorporated, Nemesis. So presumably thrash metal. I don't even remember if I've heard Grip Incorporated before. But here it is, Grip Incorporated, Nemesis. The next one is Agony and Despair by Keegan. And that's pretty much all I know about this. I think it might be traditional heavy metal. But the cover artwork looks like it could be more extreme. But it features Anders Johansson, who was in Rising Force, Yngwie Malmsteen's band. So might be something along the lines of neoclassical metal. Let's see. Up next is Dangerous Curves by Lita Ford. Excellent guitarist. So that's gonna be great too. I actually haven't heard this one, so I look forward to checking that out. The next one is probably gonna be super weird. It's Panzer Ballet, tank goodness, and Panzer Ballet is characterized as funk, jazz, rap, metal. So that's weird. I like funk metal. I know a lot of people hate funk metal because it's a thing of the 90s, and the 90s scene was weird. And a lot of thrash bands took their music in a funky direction. So a lot of people dislike it, but I kind of like funk metal. I like rap metal if it's good. New metal is a bit too not good. Some of it is actually pretty good, but most of it doesn't click with me. But this one got me intrigued because it seems so weird. So I look forward to checking that out. Up next is a band I do know, but I don't know this one. Sun Caged, Artemisia, I guess. Progressive metal. I assume this is still progressive metal. Out on Lion Music. And Lion Music have a lot of prog metal. They also have a lot of hard rock. Actually got a pretty good stuff in Lion Music. The next one is Torben Smith. A bit on the side. And this was classified as glam metal. So that's going to be interesting. I think it's probably hard rocky. So Torben Smith, a bit on the side. The next one, I heard about these guys, and I think it's supposed to be just traditional metal. But let's see. Winter's Bane, Redivious, in a nice slipcase here, or O-card really. It's not a slipcase, it's an O-card. But the cover artwork is very cool. It looks like it could be doom metal or something, or maybe even something more extreme, or power metal. Let's see. Gonna grab another stack, and I think the first one I'm gonna show you might be a bit of a surprise that that's a blind buy, but it actually is. Right? Anthrax Volume 8, The Thread is Real. I realized I've never heard this one. Right? It was Sound of White Noise that got me into Anthrax, but then I ended up going backwards and actually checking out the Joey Belladonna stuff and liking that much more. And then going forward and checking the Joey Belladonna stuff when he came back and liking that much more. But why not give the John Bush stuff a chance? Because I like John Bush as a singer. He's great in Armored Saint, and he's great on Sound of White Noise. But I realized that's the only John Bush era Anthrax album I've heard. So I picked this one up. Let's see what that's like. The next one is not a blind buy, and it's not metal, but I'm going to show it anyways. Vangelis's Blade Runner soundtrack. Great stuff. I liked Blade Runner, the movie, much more than the novel that it's based on. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, I think. Some more soundtrack. That's not a blind buy either. The soundtrack from Back to the Future. This one contains or features the more rock, because it has like a rock soundtrack and classical score as well. This has mostly the rock stuff and pop stuff on it, but there are some parts of the classical score too. So Back to the Future. Very 80s, of course. The next one, Bloodthirsty Demons, Occultum Lapidem. Looks like this. Looks like it could be black metal or something extreme. It's out on Black Funeral, but it was listed as traditional or just heavy metal. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see what that's all about. It certainly got me intrigued. The next one also looks like it's extreme metal, but it was also just listed as heavy metal. But it could, of course, be kind of like this revivalist, dirty, satanic, early 80s heavy metal. stuff. Early Death, The Bleakest Force, and this is a 4-track mini album / EP. Don't know what it is. It could be extreme metal, but it was listed as heavy metal. So let's see. I look forward to giving that a spin. The next one is a compilation, as far as I know. Gravestone. So I hope if it's not a compilation, I don't care. But Gravestones, hard rock, old school, traditional heavy metal. So that's gonna be fun. Up next is what was listed as prog metal, Pathos, Hoverface. I've seen this before online probably, but I haven't heard it. And the last one I have in this stack is The Quest by Black Draft, and I cannot even remember what this was listed as. So there you go, an unknown factor. There's more. I'm gonna grab another stack. And this one was actually the least cheap one. This one was actually a bit expensive. So I broke my own rules here, but it was too intriguing. Living Sacrifice, listed as speed metal. And I think this one is not super easy to come by. In any case, Living Sacrifice. Look forward to checking that out. The next one was also listed as traditional heavy metal. In Solitude, The World, the Flesh, the Devil. There you go. In Solitude. Supposed to be traditional heavy metal. But again, it looks like something that could be a bit more extreme. The logo might suggest revivalist speed metal. So let's see. The next one, I think, but I don't remember, but I think it was listed as death metal and progressive, so it might be prog death metal or technical death metal. Illogicist, The Inside Eye, like this. There's a price tag on it, whatever. So that's going to be interesting too. The next one, death metal, Ideologies Embodied, Uncivilized, 3-track EP. Cover artwork does look uncivilized indeed, so that's going to be fun. Up next, Nuclear Aggressor, Condemned to Rot. So there we go. Don't remember if this was listed as death metal or thrash metal. And I'm familiar with the name, so I may have heard the band before. The next is Diamond Chaser, Chained in Tokyo. Next up, some death metal, Dissenter, Contamination. Some more Geezer, Black Science with a weird hand cover. So there you go. And let me just grab the last stack. As I said, this was an epic blind buy haul, but there should be enough blind buys to keep me entertained for the next couple of months. Okay, the next one was also listed as traditional heavy metal. Ascalon Reflections. It's an EP with some bonus tracks, so at the end of the day it ends up being almost full length anyways. There you go, Ascalon Reflections. Next, I don't remember what this was listed at genre wise. Blood of Kings, Starvation. Sounds uncomfortable. The cover artwork looks pretty cool. It reminds me a bit of Cro-Mags. Up next, not a blind buy, Bon Jovi. Because it has a lot of good songs on it. And some more Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. And then with the debut album, I think it is Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, New Jersey. I have all I need Bon Jovi wise. Next up is another EP, Ceremony, The Days Before Death. And this is not, because there was a Danish underground black metal band turn progressive metal band called Ceremony. It's not them, because they did not release any albums or EPs or CDs, but some demo tapes. The penultimate one, death metal, Deathbound, to cure the sane with insanity. Doesn't sound like a good strategy, but there you go. And the last one, some more death metal as far as I remember. Devilish Distance, Destruction. That is actually the title. So I would say an epic stack of mostly blind buys. I really look forward to checking them out. What I do is very often I keep some of them in my kitchen, or in our kitchen. It's not just my kitchen. And I listen to them while cooking and doing things like that, having a blast. Or I keep some of them in our living room, and I listen to them when I'm the only one in the living room, having a blast. So I really look forward to listening to these blind buys. Yeah, this was an epic haul. I hope you enjoyed watching me just showing you a whole bunch of stuff I didn't know anything about myself. Maybe you know some of these bands. So if you do, maybe you'll look forward to me reacting to them, probably telling you how much it was not like what I expected it to be. In any case, again, have a happy new year. Thanks to everyone who supported this channel. Thanks to the VC community and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.